So let me show you an example of how gang stalking manipulation works, particularly in the context of a tarot reading. If you're dealing with a group of narcissistic psychopaths, commonly referred to as gang stalkers, their goal is to push you towards self-destruction. So they will not only attempt to sabotage your relationships, but also manipulate your perception of reality, encouraging you to undermine yourself and your life. So here's a specific example of how they operate. Gang stalkers often leave subtle clues designed to target your emotions, and their objective is to trigger negative emotional responses. If you're familiar with Ari Coppel's book on spiritual hijacking and the concept of emotional triggering, this will resonate more deeply. So why do they seek to trigger you? Negative emotions such as shame serve as fuel for what some describe as vampiric or demonic entities. So when a person is repeatedly triggered by a group, it's a clear indication that they may be the target of a spiritual or psychological attack. So here's a specific example of how a manipulative tarot reading, can covertly target and trigger someone. In this scenario, the reader creates a narrative involving a karmic wife desperately trying to hold on to a man, while introducing the story of a third party who wasn't chosen in the past. So the reading implies that the karmic wife is doing everything in her power to keep this man, but he supposedly cannot stand her. So the reader goes on to paint the man as a divine masculine who secretly wants to be with a third party whom he allegedly truly loves. Additionally, the reader claims the karmic wife is publicly humiliating the man. So this story is similar to the other video I have made that I have mentioned has the same theme. And take note that both of these videos were made the next day that I have exposed the truth about my situation. If only truth will be visible, what they didn't tell you is that the underlying intent is not to deliver insight, but to humiliate and antagonize a wife by spreading lies. So by portraying her as desperate, unworthy, and overshadowed by another woman, these tarot readers are covertly attacking her self-esteem, and the real goal is to emotionally break down the target, and in this case the wife, through psychological and emotional sabotage. So in this perspective of a deceitful narrative, the true narcissist in this narrative is the other woman, who embodies what some might describe as a Jezebelic energy, who's relentlessly manipulative, willing to use lies and deception to achieve her goals. So with the support of enablers, her flying monkeys, she seeks to tear down the marriage and eliminate the wife as an obstacle using covert psychological attacks. So having been a target in this community for a long time, I have learned that psychopaths who are skilled in hacking will use any information they have about you to cause harm. So for instance, they might take something they know about you, twist and manipulate it to inflict emotional damage, and then act as if nothing happened, and making you question your own reality. So they love to make you go crazy and say you're imagining things and that you're just paranoid. It's gaslighting. Simultaneously, they work to manipulate the people around you, shaping your environment to align with their narrative and make others believe them. So they will go to great lengths using anything and anyone at their disposal to hurt you. So how do I know as a target? So gang stalkers always leave clues. So through my observations, I have identified certain patterns such as their use of law as a subtle form of communication, and I intentionally introduced the use of this word as a marker, and unsurprisingly, it has become prevalent within this community, and this reveals how quickly these patterns are adopted as part of their tactics. Typically, a tarot reader will fabricate a story that resonates with the target on some level, but then they deliberately twist the narrative, portraying the target as the villain. So in my case, their primary tactic has been triangulation, a method designed to erode my self-esteem. So to reinforce this, they employ trolls in the comment section of this tarot reading, who subtly or overtly suggests antagonistic ideas, creating an illusion of consensus. So they will use that word like law just to catch your attention that it is you. We're antagonizing you. So I have a screenshot to illustrate this point. To those unfamiliar with the dynamics of gang stalking, this may appear as paranoia. However, it is a calculated and deliberate effort to manipulate and harm the target. An undeniable example of what gang stalking truly looks like. If you see the manipulation, you will understand how sneaky this tarot reader is. As she was saying that it was the karmic wife who was publicly humiliating the spouse, the truth is that it is the tarot reader who is publicly shaming the wife with lies. So it was her own evil, trying to project it to another person. You will realize then that it's all projection and scapegoating by evil narcissists.